Hello and welcome back, everybody. I'm Polos, and today I have for you a new series. It is called the Video Game Monetization Checklist, or VGMC for short. And it's a new series I've made, and it'll basically be taking this checklist that I made for video game monetization. So that includes things like currency and battle passes and, the store and, what kind of practices they employ. And it's kind of just an empirical way for us to look at some data and kind of just compare different games. And also, if you've ever wondered about, I wonder what this game's monetization is like, well, this will be the series for you. And first off, we have Conan Exiles, which is an open world survival game developed by Funcom. And I actually checked it out a couple months back, making a video on their monetization for their upcoming Age of Sorcery expansion. Basically, they'll be switching to a games as a service model, and we're going to check it out now that we have all the answers and I've actually been able to hop in game and look at everything. So, the first category up here is the cost of playing the game, right? So what does it cost to get into it? So is there a free trial period or account? No, there's no free trial for this. There are sometimes free weekends, though. Actually, as of recording this, there's one right now to celebrate the launch of the 3.0 update. And is it paid or free? Well, it's paid. It is $40 in USD, and all the money values in this video will be in US dollars. It's not in early access. It's a fully released game. There's no kind of subscription. There is DLC, though. So there's a map called the Isle of Sipta, which is $19.99. And there are also various cosmetic DLC packs called cultural packs. And those include new armors and weapons, and all this is cosmetic. They don't give you a gameplay benefit, but they range from $6.99 to $9.99. And can the DLC be shared in any way? Yes, actually. So armor and weapons that you purchase from the DLC are given to you as recipes. And so you can just craft the sword of Babuba and give that to your friend without having to own the Babuba DLC. So that's pretty handy. Now, it was the case that the building pieces that you'd get were also, you could make, the ramp of Babuba and then give that to your friend and they could have a bunch of those. But now that's not the case because they've revamped their building system, which uses now a hammer that opens a new AI. So there's no way to do that anymore. But you can still share all the armor and weapons as you used to be able to. And our second section here is about currency. And there is one currency in this game, one monetization relevant currency. It's a paid currency, and they're called Crom coins. And so Crom coins, what can you do with them? Well, you can use them to purchase the battle pass. You can use them to progress the battle pass by buying levels, right? You can progress normally, but you can also purchase levels if you'd like. And then you can also buy items in the Bazaar, which is Conan's shop, in-game store, basically. So how many options are there? Is there a modular option? How much do they cost? Well, as you can see here, there are 4 purchase options. There is no modular option, so you can't adjust a slider, and get whatever you want. And the minimum purchase, it'll be roughly $10 for 1,200 coins, $20 the next one up for about 2,600 coins. Then for a little over 5,000 coins will be $35. And lastly, for 50 buccarinos, you can get 7,800 Crom coins. And then the last thing about currency, can it be earned for free? No. It cannot be earned for free. You gotta pay for it. There's no login system. There's no, you don't get any with the free track of the battle pass, though you do get them back with the paid track, but you have to pay for those. So there's no way without spending a single dime on the game for you to acquire Crom coins. And also, as we're going through this, so this is a new series for me. This is a new thing. So if you think I should talk more about currency, or you have other questions that you'd like to know about, video game currencies and kind of premium currencies, then let me know. Be sure to let me know. This is all, it can be changed. And it surely it will grow as we do more of these. But on to the next category is loot boxes. Conan Exiles doesn't have loot boxes. So Battle Pass then. Is there a Battle Pass? Yes, and you'll see it scrolling here behind us. And there's 60 total tracks on that. And so, well, how many Battle Pass versions are there? Well, there's the Battle Pass, and it has 60 levels. And some of those you only get, though, if you pay. So there are about 17 of the 60 are for free. You just get them for just playing the game. And those are denoted here with the blue free icon. And then also the other 43 are paid. So those are locked behind you having to pay for it. And so that, that's roughly 1/4 of it is free content, and then 3/4 is locked behind paying for it. And the Battle Pass itself costs 1,200 Crom coins, which is the base amount that you can purchase with currency. So you don't have to do any finagling. You don't have to, buy $5 and then another $5 for like the $7 Battle Pass or something. It is just the base purchase of currency for $10 will net you enough currency to buy the Battle Pass. And of course, then you have to buy that Battle Pass with currency. You can't just purchase it with money. And do you receive enough currency from the Battle Pass to progress or to get it next season, Yes, actually you do. So if you complete level 57 out of 60 on this Battle Pass, then you will have enough currency. You will have 1,200 currency. And you can use that on the next Battle Pass next season or in the store, but then of course you'd have to buy more currency. Now, is this Battle Pass time limited? Will it go away and you can't go back and do it again like Halo Infinite? Unfortunately, yes, it is time limited. It'll last about 13 weeks, 90 days there or so, 3 months. And after that, that's all she wrote. It is gone. The devs have mentioned that they might bring back items that are similar but have a different, color or tone to them. But they will not be the exact same items. They will never again be available. And originally, in their original Q&A about this, the devs actually mentioned that the team wanted to make it so you could come back, just like Halo Infinite, where they're just always available. But their monetization expert advised against it. So interesting tidbit there. In terms of Battle Pass levels, are they the same? The same amount of XP required? Or does it go up per level? Well, for Conan, it stays the same. So it's 1,000 experience per level for all 60 levels. So it doesn't get grindier the higher you go. You don't need more XP or anything like that. And then can you pay for Battle Pass progression? Why, yes, you can. And I didn't buy the Battle Pass myself, and so I didn't have access to actually see this part of the screen. But Granny Gamester has a video on YouTube of her going over the Battle Pass and the Bazaar and the update and everything. And so I snapped a screenshot from that. And of course, her link to that video will be in the channel below. But yeah, so you can unlock levels with currency. Okay, so you have a 1 level unlock, a 5 level unlock, and then also a 15 level unlock, which technically is like an upgrade to premium Battle Pass. But I want to stress that it just gives you 15 levels. I'm not sure why they've called it a premium Battle Pass, because it is just the Battle Pass. Like, you've already bought the Battle Pass at this point. It just gets you 15 levels. It doesn't unlock a special Giga track or something like that. It's really misleading, honestly. I don't know if they make you think that you're getting more than you are or what, but it's just to unlock the levels. And so then, well, how do you actually progress this Battle Pass, you might ask? And what modes can you progress in? So firstly, before we get into this before us, you can progress the Battle Pass in multiplayer, so if you're playing with other people. You can also progress it in a single player map, or co-oping with your friend. And you can also progress it if you pop into admin or creative mode while you're in single player. So you can just spawn in a bunch of boys, or whatever, items, or just fly around, zip around the map at time 10's flying speed and progress this. So it's not limited in any way in any of the modes at all whatsoever. all the progression will count across all the different servers that you're on in all of the different modes. So, but getting into what y'all have been looking at here. So we have 5 different slots for challenges. And these slots have different rarities of challenges. And there's common, which will be 30 XP. Uncommon is 40. Rare is 70. And legendary is 150 XP. Okay, so by completing a challenge, you get that XP. And it's 1000 XP per level of the battle pass. Now you might say, well, 30 XP when there's, I got to get 1000 per level. Well, as you may have noticed, at the top of these, on top of some of these, and every day, starting every day, you will have a times 10 multiplier for each slot. Now, once you complete that slot, so if I craft a weapon with that times 10 multiplier, I will get times 10 the XP. So I'll get 300 experience for crafting a weapon. But then once I do that, whatever challenge it's replaced with, because when you complete it, it gets replaced with another random challenge. So that challenge will not have the XP multiplier on it. However, as you might have noticed up here, below challenge XP, there's an XP multiplier remaining. Now this keeps track of how many you have banked. So you get 5 a day, right? And let's say, oh, I didn't log in today. Well, then it banks it for tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll have the standard 5 on your challenges, but then you'll also have 5 banked. So once you complete a challenge, then it will take 1 from the bank, there'll be 4, and then you'll be able to do times 10 multiplier again. So, and that goes up to 25. So that's up, about 4 days that you can not play the game, but not really lose any progress, which is real convenient. And then, like I mentioned, if you complete a challenge, it's replaced with a new one. And that is infinitely repeatable. You will never run out of challenges. If it's the last day, you can just grind them out. You don't have to worry about, oh, I missed it, I wasn't playing at the right time and they're gone now. You can grind it out if you want. And then also there's a way to re-roll the challenges, and you get 3 free re-rolls a day. There's no way to pay for re-rolls, and those will refresh the entire board of challenges. So all of these will be gone, and they'll be replaced with completely new ones. And then lastly, with battle passes, once it's complete, is there a repeating reward? No, there is not. Once the battle pass once you have completed all 60 levels, that is it. It is done. Good job. All right, so then moving on to the shop. This is the Bazaar, which is Conan's, the shop. It just has a fancy name to it. And so what kind of items are available here? Well, they're all cosmetic again. None of these have a gameplay advantage. If it's a weapon, you still have to craft it. So it's not like you just get that for free, and it doesn't have any stat value better than anything else. So it's just different, different types of stats. Maybe some have strength or agility or whatever. You can also have mount skins in here, or like horse or rhino skins, as it were, or maybe some pet skins for like a hyena. Obviously here we have some armor, we have an emote bundle, and some placeables, and some decorations there. Sandstone set, an arcane bookcase here. And again, these are just cosmetic. Now going back to, can you share these? Can you share these like the previous DLC stuff? Yes. In the sense that, with the weapons and the armor, right? If you craft that, then you can give that to another player. Now you wouldn't be able to share like the arcane bookcase, because you could put it in someone else's base for them, but you couldn't actually like give them the bookcase to then have them place themselves, because again, they've changed the building system such that it's all in a UI now with a hammer. So there's no way to drop like that bookcase for somebody else. But the armors you could share with somebody else. Same with the weapons. And then are these for direct purchase with money or currency? As we can see, they're for currency, so you have to buy those Crom coins we talked about. And then do they rotate? And how often do they rotate? And here we actually have 3 different categories of like rotation speed. So in the top left is like the largest, the biggest deal or whatever. In this case, it's the Black Magic Starter Set, and that rotates every month. So in a month, it'll be a new one. And then you have these 4 other, longer slots. We have the armor and weapon in the bottom. Then we have sandstone set 2, weapons above me, and the emote bundle. And these will rotate every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks there will be new ones there. And then lastly you have these 2. I'm hiding one of them behind me. But the bookcase and whatever is behind me will rotate on a weekly schedule. And it's not known when they will come back. There's not a point. It doesn't tell you this will be back in 2 months or a year or whatever, or a couple weeks. It is here, and then it is gone until it comes back, and the new items will rotate in. And as you can see, also there is a discount on some of these items, though it doesn't show you what % discount. And lastly, for the shop, can you refund things? I don't know. I looked in-game. Of course, I didn't purchase anything, so it's harder for me to actually see if there is, because there seems to be a lot of that locked behind stuff. But I asked in-game, I asked on the forums as well, and on Twitter, and I was unable to get a firm response. So just assume that there's no way to refund things. And if that ends up being not true, then please do let me know, because that's really important if you're able to refund the purchase. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to refund the Crom coin purchase. I think those are final. But maybe you could refund this. But as far as I'm aware, you cannot. So assume all purchases are final. Yeah, that is pretty much the monetization there. So now we can get, again, kind of an overview here. You have the Battle Pass, which is seasonal and it can't be repeated, but you do earn currency for the next one. You have the Bazaar, which has a rotating, a couple items in there that are on different rotating schedules. And what do I think about it? Well, I think, okay, so starting with the Battle Pass, the Battle Pass is pretty bog standard, right? It's a nice addition that you can earn enough currency to buy the next Battle Pass, right? So potentially, if this is your main game or you played enough, you only have to pay $10 one time, and then you could earn everything. Of course, that's also a huge time investment to be playing Conan for kind of just like the rest of the game's lifespan, and not miss, any of the battle passes or any of the levels. But you could do it. And again, industry standard, it's FOMO, it's temporary. It won't be something you can go back and do, unlike Halo Infinite. So it can be better in both of those ways, right? I think the big thing here, and like I mentioned, the devs wanted you to be able to go back and do these battle passes. They're themed around, like this battle pass is is for sorcery. But then once this battle pass is gone, it's just gone. You can't go back and earn that if, oh man, I was out of town, I missed something, I was sick, I didn't feel like playing Conan at that time. But I really like the sorcery motif. You're just out of luck. You have to hope that the devs will introduce an item that is similar but not quite the same in the future, which is no guarantee there. But ultimately, again, the Battle Pass is pretty bog standard, so could be a lot better though. Not too happy. But it's pretty standard. Now moving on to the shop. The shop is where I have most of my issues, and as I talk about this, I want to actually look at a little slideshow here I've put together of that Black Magic starter set. So this will set you back a little over 1,300 Crom coins, which in order to even make this purchase, you will have to spend, because the base purchase is 1,200 Crom coins, right? So they've already, and there's not a cheaper option. It's not like you can buy a $10 pack and a $5 pack. No, you have to buy 2 $10 packs, or the $20 pack or whatever, 25 maybe, I forget exactly what it is. But so that's already, so this, you have to spend $20 to even purchase this, okay? And I just want you to look. I want you to look at the items and just be kind of aware of that, all right? Because this, their old monetization model was, it's a $40 game, $20 map if you want it, and then also the optional cultural packs. And these were released on, a set schedule, which originally, the set schedule is the same as they're going to be pumping out the seasonal content now. And, now they're $10. They might have been $15 on release, but I'm not sure. But, you could, if you wanted it, great. If you're like, I really like that Eastern motif, that sounds cool, I'ma purchase it. Or me personally, I really like the Savage Frontier cultural pack, and so I purchased that. And of course, they go on sale, as anything on Steam does. And so it's nice that it's just always there for me. you know, just like I don't know, other things that are always there for you, like your animals or whatever. um okay. But anyway, so it's there and I can do it whenever. And I liked that. And I purchased quite a few of those cultural packs. And now they're moving to, so they're keeping the $40 price tag on the game itself. And now they're moving to basically the battle pass, the season pass, is a replacement of their cultural packs. And you get a lot less in them, like purely from an items earned perspective. You get a lot less in them. You don't get nearly as many building pieces. I think you get 3 armor still. I can't speak on the weapons though, but I doubt you get 9 new weapons. And you definitely don't get as many building sets as well. You do get, some skins for your animals and some emotes, some war paints as well, but it is nothing near what it was with the cultural packs. And also, again, you have to work for it. You have to be there at that time. You have to pay $10, and then you have to play nearly if you want to progress it faster, of course, play probably every day to get it done, or take your time leisurely. You do have, 90 days to do it. But you have to work for it. And so we've looked at this enough. Now I want to go show you, this is what's in the Savage Frontier pack. You have 9 weapons, right? So that's like you have a 2-handed hammer, you have a spear, you have a shield, you have a sword, you have a long sword. You have 15 new armor pieces, right? So each of the light, medium, and heavy sets. 39 building pieces. And this included, big giant gates and rooftops and the fence foundations. 5 pet skins, and then also 5 war paints. And that was $10, which is the equivalent price of the new season pass. But you get a lot less and you have to work for it. And I think that's ultimately my issue. It's the same price, but you get less and you have to give more. And then on top of that, you have the Bazaar. So if I did want items a la carte, as they say, if I really like the look of something, I have to pay a premium. That Black Magic set that we were looking at, Black Magic starter set, you will have to dish out $20 to purchase it. Now, it is worth probably around, a little over $10 worth of the coins, but you will have to spend $10 to purchase that. Or $20, excuse me, in order to purchase that. And then you have coins left, which is like, well, then I gotta spend them on the other things, and it's like $10 before. $10 before would get me a cultural pack. And now this is $20 for six dinky little items. Now again, it's cosmetic, if it's worth whatever you want to pay for it. But I think it's a slap in the face. I think that it's ridiculous that they're trying to spin it as a positive and trying to convince you that it's totally reasonable to pay $10 for 6 building pieces, 6 decorations even. That, it's on sale though, it's 35% off, which normally it would have been like freaking actually $20, And I think that's ridiculous. I think that they're clearly catering more towards the whales, the big spenders, the people who, have hundreds of dollars to spend on Conan. They're not focusing on the people like me who, I would be happy to pay, a couple bucks for that and maybe get a few couple buck packs and probably end up spending $20 anyway, but I'd get a lot more for it. But they don't like that. Heaven forbid, digital goods, right? You can get a lot of those. And again, it would be a different story if it went free to play. If the game were free, they removed the $40 price tag, then, that would be a different story. We'd be having a different discussion right now. But it is concerning. More and more paid games are having these larger and larger macro transactions at this point. And so that's worrying. That's really concerning. Overall, I can't say I'm happy with Conan. I don't think this is a good direction. I don't think it's a good direction for the game. I don't think it's a good direction for the player base. But that's my personal opinion, you know? Their numbers have been going up. They've been getting, you know, and they said, you know, they wanted to release the Age of Sorcery for free. And in order to do that, they have to monetize. But I say, you know, if that's the case and you have to monetize, then maybe we don't need Age of Sorcery. You know, if you have to really be super predatory toward your customers and your loyal fans and just wring them out of all the money they have in order to put out an update for free, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that is good business practice. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe, you know, again, I don't know. This is my opinion. This is what I think. Let me know what you think, you know? It's totally fine to disagree with absolutely everything I said, right? It's not right or wrong. It's just my opinion. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up Conan. I will be having more of these videos, more of these video game monetization. It's hard to say, okay? Monetization checklists. I don't know. There's no form of schedule for them. It's kind of just as I feel like it. Moonbreaker, which is a game I'm really looking forward to, will be having a playtest hopefully next weekend, a week away from now. And so I'll be churning out content for that. So, and then after that, I have to find a job. So who knows, you know, if I have a downtime and I'm really feeling like just bored, I could put out one of these and work on these. Or if a game, you know, like I definitely will be doing one of these for Moonbreaker once it hits early access. I definitely have other games in mind, like Legends of Runeterra and Smite, to name a few. Maybe go back and look at some Hearthstone stuff as well. But yeah. So if you like the series, awesome. Let me know. If you dislike it, if you're like, these questions are stupid, they don't tell me anything, you should ask these questions instead, please let me know. The only way that I can improve the checklist and give you all what you want is feedback. So if you think I'm totally out of line, if you think that, you know, I should ask different questions or whatever, let me know. Just tell me. I'm not going to take it personally. But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have, you know, a great weekend. Here in the States, it's, you know, Labor Day weekend. Barbecuing, I guess, is what people usually do. I think the girlfriend and I are just gonna like make bacon pancakes and go out like Sunday to get some tacos and some frozen yogurt. But you know, you do you. But yeah, have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely rest of your day. Have a lovely time potting the next plant that you pot. And I will see you then. Bye!